Good morning and welcome to Frontiers of Knowledge segment of Dr. Lamba's Awakening Call. We always have different opinions, but many times our opinions are based on inaccurate understanding or are swayed by populism, myths, and nowadays the biggest issue facing majority of the people is the taxation. Come the new financial end, financial year end, and then each one of us is worried about how much tax is going to be. And there are a number of myths connected with the taxation systems everywhere. And so they are with Canada. It's common. For example, it's commonly presumed that the top income earners do not pay their share in taxes. Is that really so? You see, there are two reasons for this. One is we do not know for sure the facts. Secondly, we always assume that the top income earners are an entitled class as if their earning is not by their own efforts. They forget their vision, they forget their innovation, and just the fact that they are earning more creates a sense of jealousy. And in this sense of green serpent bite, we forget the reality. And then the best thing is to condemn the institution, condemn the system, and that's what we do. Now, there's a common perception, as I said, and it's a misperception in the Canadian, that the top income group, the top earners, do not pay their fair share of tax. Now, this word fair is a loaded word. What is fair from your point of view may not be fair from my point of view. And then the ultra leftist policies, which are predominantly liked, because majority of the people are not top earners. So to appeal to them, the politicians use these terms, these words that excite people and make them feel that they are the deprived section, and the people who are the top earners are really the villains. And that increasing taxes, the second perception, is an effective way to generate additional government revenue. That's going to be further from the truth. There was a time in India that top earners had to pay 95% of their income as tax. Now tell me, if you earn $100 and you have to pay $95 of that to the tax, would you like to earn $100 at all? And I recall some people refusing a promotion because then it said that if the promotion is there, they'll get an increment of rupees 20, but their tax would go up by rupees 200. They'll go in that higher slab, they'll have to pay more. Now coming back to Canada, the high income families already pay, in fact, disproportionately large share of all Canadian taxes. Here, the taxation system is heavily slanted against the top earners. And the evidence shows, the study, the research, the top 20% of income earning families pay 61.4% of the company's personal income tax. So if you compare 20% with 80%, the top 20% pays two-thirds of the country's personal tax. And if you look at the total tax, not only the personal income tax, but the total tax in GST and others, they pay more than half, 53.0%. So if 20% are paying 62%, nearly two-thirds, is it not more than what they should be paying? Now look, contrast it to the 20% of the lowest income family. Are you aware that the 20% of the income earning families are estimated to pay only 0.8% of all federal and provincial personal taxes, just less than 1%. They are paying, those 20% are paying 62%, and these 20% are paying 0.8%. And of the total taxes, that group is paying 53.0%, 53%, and this group, don't be amazed, is paying 2.1%. Where is equity? Where is a sense of balance? Yes, I agree absolutely that if you earn more, you should pay more. But then there has got to be a grading system. The progressivity has to be there, and the progressivity should not be as the classic case I've told you of India, where you have to pay 95%. So I remember then Pandit Nehru, the then Chief Prime Minister, was quite puzzled that what's happening. People are not doing business. The big industries were closing, except a couple of them like Birlas and Tata. Then Mr. C.D. Deshmukh, finance minister, said that we have got to rationalize our income tax. Now Nehru was a leftist. He says, how is that possible that the people earning the maximum should not pay more? If they are paying, that's justified. He said no. So they invited Professor Kaldor from USA, a renowned taxation expert, to study the taxes. And he said under no circumstance tax should be more than 60% at present. And that sent the top political leadership into a fit of rage. A discussion continued continuously for a week, and then consultation and discussions for about 6 months. And ultimately it was brought down to 78%, then 60%, and now it's 35%. So this progressivity, what did it result in? It resulted in coming in of, there were 3 big houses before it was there, 4, Tatas, Birlas, JK Group, Singhania Group, and TVS Group in South India. After this, within 5 years, 6 more groups came in. 20 years, more than 100 such groups came in, and today you have seen, and Indians are in the top 20, and they're the maximum billionaires in India today after USA. Now what happens when you raise high income taxes on the high income group? You ignore the economic consequences of tax rate. You ignore the tax rate increase can have a deleterious and negative effects. And not only that, it has an effect on economy, but it also has negative effect on the behavioral response of the taxpayer. Any human being who has earned by the sweat of the brow. And as I said earlier, it's a misconception to say that those people exploit the labor. Don't forget that they had the idea, that they had the entrepreneurial skill, that they took the risk. And in fact, labor is only contributing, in fact, a very minor percentage. It looks as if labor is not there, nothing would get done. But labor is not doing them a favor. If they were not working, they'll die of hunger. The main thing is the initiative, the idea, the vision, And then the governors, they also govern that organization. You pay for each thing separately. Don't combine all of them in one. A person has a multifarious activities to perform. Pay him according to that, and you would find the tax should be much lower. So the behavioral response of the taxpayer when he has to pay, and then you find that he worked much more and his returns are not commensurate, then he is discouraged. And that sets in motion a feeling of ennui, getting tired. What the hell am I working for? I sacrifice my life, my family, my health, everything. And what I'm getting at the end is paying for the people who are parasites. And then I was really amused. Again in India, one entrepreneur, when he filed the tax, he claimed 20 lakh rupees as deduction which he had paid as a bribe. And the High Court agreed that it looks bad, but it was a business expense. And he said the system should be, the High Court judge said, no, the system should be such that he doesn't have to pay the bribe. So, if you raise the tax on the higher income, if the progressivity is like that, then you are in fact reducing the incentive for working. What would happen if you have a tax increase on the high income group? Many taxpayers, and most of the majority rather I'll say, will change their behavior, and the result would be their taxable income would be reduced. How would they review? There are two ways. Either they'll do effective tax planning, or avoid tax, or evade tax. And that would result in government raising less revenue than anticipated. And let me tell you, very capable tax planners can reduce a tax appreciably. And tax evasion is very simple to do. You hide some income. So the tax increase also reduces. Now what's going to happen now? Canada, as I told you, is one of the highest tax countries in the world. And the progressivity is such that it slants up. It's going up a hill at 75-degree incline. You can't go up like that. You'll fall down, slip down, and you'll lose your breath. You'll make people demoralized, and the return would be much less than you anticipate. Then, as I said, it reduces the country's competitiveness with the other industrialized countries, especially USA. Canada's 85% trade is with USA. And if you do not give them the quality products at a reduced rate, then you are in trouble. Now, specifically increasing taxes on top income earners makes Canada a very less attractive place to live and work for. So the highly skilled people such as doctors, scientists, managers, software engineers, they do not come to Canada. They prefer to work in USA. The laws are such, the licensing systems are such that the people don't want to come. And those who come are so frustrated with the taxation system that they don't want to do it. I know of at least 5 doctors who came. One was the president of the Delhi Medical Association. Today he is a real estate person, and he says, I'm quite happy. I'm earning much more and paying less. Very honest. 3 doctors are working as cab drivers. Now let me tell you, I have nothing against being a cab driver. are against being a real estate agent. But I'm saying this is the wastage, and the highly skilled capabilities that they have got are not being utilized appropriately. The optimum utilization should be there. Human resources are one of the most important resources. And if you do not use these resources in an optimal manner, it's a country which suffers, it's a society which suffers. So, the negative effects of progressivity, too steep a progressivity, are very well perceived. And the need is there to ensure that this progressivity is made as level as possible. There has to be level playground. You cannot ask a wrestler to wrestle with other person with one hand tied behind his back. And that's what's happening in Canadian taxation system. The progressivity in this system is absolutely unjustified and shows only the leftist tendencies of the government. With the result that the government indulges in other ways to increase their revenues, which in fact affect the low income group people more. For example, Harper had reduced GST, which was a great thing. 2% GST he reduced. And the new government is increasing the user fee, and quite possibly if the situation continues, they might increase even the GST. That shows ultimately that the taxes have to be equitable. You see, when they're equitable, then the progressivity in the taxation system is not too steep. Then maybe at 70-degree incline, it is 45-degree incline. And then the human nature is such that they accept, okay, yes, I want more, let me pay a bit more in material. That makes it acceptable. And when that makes it acceptable, there is no heartburn, there is incentive to work more, and enables you to be competitive globally. So this progressivity has to be reduced and equitability has got to be increased. That's a way of salvation for the Canadian economy. Thank you.